Vaishnava etiquette is asatsanga tyag, giving up the association of people who are not devotees, who are not devotionally inclined, those who are sinful. Asatsanga tyag yahi Vaishnavacha. And then he says in the next one, Stri Sangi asti ek, Krishna Bhaktar. A person who humanizes is one, and one who is Krishna Bhakta, he is not a Stri Sangi. Only Prabhu, माझा phone mute करता. So, in this context, as I had put once before on the group earlier today, we would be seeing or reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Haridas Thakur. Now, actually, the context here to speak about Haridas Thakur is that how he delivered a woman who had come to bring about his fall down, right? But he purified her and she became a devotee. So that is the context in which we want to speak, right? But since we are on the point and on the topic, therefore what we'll do is we will read little more in depth about Haridas Thakur. So I will read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are a lot of story which is behind what I'm reading about how Haridas Thakur came to this place and other things, but that we will do some other time. I'm thinking, when there is some long weekend or something, we can do on a Sunday morning or some day on a holiday, just reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita at long. So that time we will cover this whole thing. Today I will just cover two pastimes or two main leelas of Haridas Thakur. One is of how he delivers this society woman, and second is how glorious Haridas Thakur's death was. Everyone is fearful of death in this world. So as devotees, do we not have to face death? We have to face death. But the death that we will face, a devotee will face, an ordinary person faces, is a gulf of differences there. Why? Because for a devotee, Krishna comes as death. Sorry, death comes as Krishna, and for a non-devotee, Krishna comes as death. So for a pure devotee, what will happen? Krishna will come and take us. It is like the cat. When the cat opens its mouth and the rat sees that, the rat sees death in that. And when the same cat opens the same mouth and the kitten see that, they see it as love. Because with that mouth, she's going to pick them up and take them to safety or whatever. Or she's going to lick them. So that is the difference between the death of a devotee, and therefore Prabhupada, many times we use this word, in our Krishna conscious dealings, conquering death. Conquering death means what? Death, is not making us scared. We are not scared of death. And the death of a devotee is very pleasant experience. He is going back to God. Right? Those of you, how many of you have seen that movie, Tukaram? I had recommended that to be seen by everyone, but I am not sure how many of you could get time to see. So those of you who have seen that, kindly just say yes or something on the group. So at least I know how many of you have seen. And those who have not seen it should be encouraged to see that. And, maybe tomorrow's class you should tell. Right? So those of you who have seen could raise your hand or put a yes message or whatever so that we know what you have said and done. Okay. So coming back to the glories of Haridas Thakur, so I will read. So it is actually, all of you know that, Haridas Thakur, the Leela of Haridas Thakur is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it is in Bengali. It is partly in Bengali and partly in Sanskrit. So it is I'll read in Bengali and then I will read the translation. Not that I understand Bengali, but I'll read from here and translate also from here. So I will read. Ekadina Haridasa Gonphate Vasiya Nama Sankirtana Karena Uchcha Kariya. One day Haridas Thakur was sitting in his cave reciting the holy name of the Lord very loudly. Josnavati Ratri Dasha Disha Dika Sunir Mala Gangara Lahari Josnaya Kara Jahal Mala. The night of moonlight made the waves of the Ganges looked dazzling. All directions were clear and bright. द्वार तुलसी लेपा इंदिरा उपार गोनपार शोभा देखी लोकेर जुड़ाय अंतर. Thus everyone who saw the beauty of the cave with the tulsi plant on a clean altar was astonished and satisfied. हेन काले एक नारी अंगन आईला तांड्रा अंग कांतिये स्थान पीठ वर्ण होईला. At that time, in that beautiful scene, a woman appeared in the courtyard. The beauty of her body was so bright that it tinged the entire place with a yellow hue. तारा अंग गंधे दशदिख आमोदिता भूषण ध्वनिते कर्ण हाय चमकिता. The scent of her body perfumed all directions, and the tinkling of her ornaments startled the ear. ऐसा तुलसीर सेही कैला नमस्कार तुलसी परिक्रमा करी गेल गोनफा द्वार. After coming there, the woman offered obeisances to the tulsi plant, and after circumambulating the tulsi, doing pradakshina, she came to the door of the cave where Haridas Thakur was sitting. योद हाथे हरिदासेर वंदिला चरण द्वारवासी कहे किछु मधुर प्रवचन. With folded hands, she offered obeisances at the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. Sitting at the door, she then spoke in a very sweet voice. जगतेर बंधु तुम्ही रूप गुणवान तव संग लागी मोर इथाक प्रयाण. My dear friend, she said, you are the friend of the entire world. You are so beautiful and qualified. I have come here only for union with you. मोर अंगकार कर हान सदय दीन दया करे एही साधु स्वभाव होय. So now she is telling on, she is trying to entice Haridas Thakur. She says, my dear sir, kindly accept me and be merciful towards me, for it is the characteristic of a saintly person to be kind towards the poor and fallen. Then she says, Eta bali nana bhava kariya prakash yahara darshane munira hoye dariya nash. After saying this, she began to manifest various postures, which even the greatest philosophers would lose their patience upon seeing. Nirvikara Haridas Gambhira Ashoy Balita Lagila Tare Hana Sadai. Haridas Thakur was immovable, or he was deeply determined. He began to speak to her, being very merciful towards her. Now here we can learn so many things. This woman had come to entice him. So Haridas Thakur is showing how he is not going to fall prey to her. At the same time, just because she has come to defeat him, just because she has come to degrade him, to degenerate him, he is not speaking harshly to her. He is being very polite and kind. Sankhya nama sankirtana yehi mahayajna manye tahate dikshita ami hoy prati dine. So he replies to her in a very sweet way. He says, I have been initiated into a vow to perform a great sacrifice by chanting the holy name a certain number of times every day. Yavat kirtan sampita nahe na kori anna kam kirtana sampata hoile hoye dikshara vishram. As long as the vow to chant is unfulfilled, I do not desire anything else. When I finish my chanting, then I have an opportunity to do anything. Dware vasi shunatumi nama sankirtan nama sampita haile karimu tava priti acharan. So Haridas Thakur tells her ahead, sit down at the door and hear the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. As soon as the chanting is finished, I shall satisfy you as you desire. Eto boli karena teno nama sankirtan sei nari vashe kare Shri Nama Shravan. After saying this, Haridas Thakur continued to chant the holy name of the Lord. Thus the woman sitting before him began to hear the chanting of the holy name. कीर्तन करिता अशी प्रातः काल होईल, प्रातः काल देखी नारी उठिया चालीला. So in this way he chanted and chanted the morning approach. Whole night he was chanting. And when the woman saw that it was morning, she got up and left. एई माता दिन दिन करे आंगमन, नाना भाव देखाया याते भ्रमार हरमन. For 3 days she approached Haridas Thakur. Thakur in this way, exhibiting various feminine postures that would bewilder the mind of even Lord Brahma. Krishna Nama Vista Mana Sada Haridas Aranye Rodita Haila Stri Bhava Prakash. Haridas Thakur was always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, in the holy name of Krishna. Therefore, the feminine poses the woman exhibited were just like crying in the forest. Tritiya Divsera Ratri Sesha Yabe Haila Thakurera Sthana Nari Kahite Lagila. At the end of the night, on the third day, the woman spoke to Haridas Thakur as follows. So the woman started telling Haridas Thakur, 3 days she's coming, she's trying to entice Haridas Thakur, kuch nahi ho raha hai. Dina Dina Vanchila Ami Kori Ashwasan Ratri Dine Naha Tomar Nama Samapan. My dear sir, for 3 days you have cheated me by giving me false assurances. For I see that throughout the entire day and night, your chanting of the holy name is never finished. Haridas Thakur kahen, Ami ki karimu, Niyama kariyachi taha kemana chadimu. Haridas Thakur said, my dear friend, what can I do? I have made a vow. How can I give it up? Tabe nari kaho taner kori namaskar, Ami maya karite aila pariksha tomar. So after offering obeisances to Haridas Thakur, the woman said, I am the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I came here to test you. Right? So it is actually Maya Devi who has come. Brahmandi Jiva Ami Sabar Mohilun, Ekala Tomare Ami Mohite Narilun. I have previously captivated the mind of even Brahma. What to speak of others? Your mind alone have I failed to attract. Mahabhagavata tumi tomar darshane, tomar Krishna nama kirtana shravane. Chitta shuddha hoila, chahe Krishna nama laite, Krishna nama upadeshi, kripa kare mote. My dear sir, you are the foremost devotee. Simply seeing you and hearing you chant the holy name of Krishna has purified my consciousness. Now I want to chant the holy name of Lord. Please be kind to me in instructing me about the ecstasy of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chaitanya Vatare Vahe Premamrita Vanya Saba Jiva Prema Bhase Prithiva Haila Dhanya. There is now a flood of the eternal nectar of love of Godhead due to the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya. All living entities are floating in that flood. The entire world is now thankful to the Lord. Ye vanaya ye ya na bhashe sei jiva chara koti kalpe kabutara nahike nistare. Anyone who does not float in this inundation is most condemned. Such a person cannot be delivered for millions of kalpas. Purve ami Ram nama panachi shiva hote, tomara sange loba hoila Krishna nama laite. Formerly I received the holy name of Lord Ram from Lord Shiva. But now, due to your association, I am greatly eager to chant the holy names of Krishna. Mukti hetu ka taraka hoy Ram naam, Krishna naam paraka hanya kare premadan. The holy name of Lord Ram certainly gives liberation, but the holy name of Krishna transports one to the other side of the ocean of nuisance and last gives one ecstatic love for Krishna. Krishna Nama Deha Tumi Mora Kara Dhanya Amara Bhashaya Yaiche Yei Prema Vanya. Please give me the holy name of Krishna and thus make me fortunate, so that I also may float in the flood of love for Godhead, inaugurated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. एत बोली वंदिला हरिदासेर चरण, हरिदासे कहे कर Krishna Sankirtan. After speaking in this way, Maya worshipped Lord's feet, worshipped the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, who initiated her by saying, just perform chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Upadesha Panna Maya Chalila Hana Prita, ye sab kathe karo na janme pratita. After thus being instructed by Haridas Thakur, Maya left with great pleasure. Unfortunately, some people have no faith in these narrations. So then he says, Pratita karite kaha karana ahara, yahara shravane hoy vishesha sabara. Therefore, I shall explain the reason why people should have faith. Everyone who hears this will be faithful. So we should all hear carefully. Chaitanya Avatare Krishna Prema Lubdhana Brahma Shiva Sanakadi Prithivite Janmaiya. During the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya, to inaugurate the Krishna consciousness movement, even such personalities as Brahma, Shiva, and 4 Kumaras took birth upon this earth, being allured by the ecstatic love of Lord Krishna. Krishna Nama Lana Nache Prema Vanya Bhase Narada Prahlada Ase Manushya Prakashe. All of them, including the great sage Narad and devotees like Prahlad, came here in the guise of human beings, chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna together and dancing and floating in the inundation of love of Godhead. Lakshmi Adi Kari Krishna Prema Lubdhana Nama Prema Aswadila Manushya Janamiya. The goddess of fortune and others, allured by love of Krishna, also came down in the form of human beings and tasted the holy name of the Lord in love. Anyera ek katha apane Vrajendra Nandana avatari karena prema rasa aswadana. What to speak of others? Even Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, personally descends to taste the nectar of love of Godhead in the form of chanting of the Hare Krishna. Maya dasi prema mage iti ki vismaya sadhu kripa nama vina prema na janmaya. What is the wonder if the maid servant of Krishna, his eternal external energy, begs for love of Godhead? Without the mercy of a devotee and without the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, love of Godhead cannot be possible. Chaitanya Goshanira Lilara Eis Swabhav Tribhuvana Nache Gaye Pana Prema Bhar. In the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 3 words dance and chant having come in touch with love of Godhead. This is the characteristic of the pastimes. Krishna Adi Ara Yata Sthavara Jangame Krishna Prema Matta Kare Krishna Sankirtane. The holy name of Krishna is so attractive that anyone who chants it, including all living entities, moving and non-moving, and even Lord Krishna himself, becomes imbued with love of Krishna. This is the effect of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Swarupa Gosani Kadachiya Ye Lila Likhila Raghunatha Dasa Mukhe Ye Saba Sunila. Now, this book is written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he has narrated the story of Haridas Thakur and this woman who was actually Maya Devi, who came to make his fall down or to test him. So now Kaviraj Goswami is explaining to us what is the reference of this story, from where he is quoting it. So he says, Swarup Gosai Kadachane Yehi Lila Likhila. I heard this from the mouth of Raghunath Das Goswami, all that Swarup Damodar Goswami recorded in his notes about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Sahi sab lila kahi sangshepa koriya Chaitanya kripate likhi Shudra Jivahana. I have briefly described those pastimes. Whatever I have written is by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Since I am an insignificant living being, Haridasa Thakurer Kahilun Mahimarakan Yathara Shravane Bhaktera Judiya Shravan, I have described but a fragment of the glories of Haridas Thakur. Hearing this satisfies the oral reception of every devotee. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar As, Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. So praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Now I will tell you, we'll read the next section from the next section of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. But before that, I want to tell all of you, how many of you have gone to Vrindavan, or rather those of you who have gone to Vrindavan, and some of us went even recently, me, Damodar Prabhu, Ashish Prabhu and others. You remember you went, I could not come, but Ashish Prabhu, Damodar Prabhu, you went to the Radha Madan Mohan temple on the hill. Yes, Ashish Prabhu, you had gone there to the Radha Madan Mohan temple on the hill on top. It is like a fort from outside. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was 92 years old.
Yes, yes.
And he was instructed by the Vaishnavas. Yes, Ashish Prabhu.
Yes, yes, I remember. I had gone with the others to Radha.
Yes.
One second. Yeah.
Yeah. Radha Madan Mohan. So if any one of you has a photo of Radha Madan Mohan temple, please share in the group so that immediately others can see. That is one thing. So there, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami went, he was instructed by the Vaishnavas to write about about the Lord's Leelas. So he went to this temple of Radha Madan Mohan. Today it is broken by the Mughals. The original deities are not there, but in the original form. But the potency of the temple remains the same. And there he begged to them, Mama Manda Mater Gati Mat Sarvasva Padam Bhojo Radha Madan Mohano. He said that I am ill-advised, I am hopeless, I am ineligible or whatever. So, but I have been instructed by so many of the Vaishnavas to write, so what should I do? And at that moment, from the neck of Lord Krishna, the garland fell down, indicating that the Lord was giving the mercy to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to write this book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this has been copied by all the Hindi movies and Bollywood movies, where the Lord gives the mala to them as a sign or a token of acceptance or ashirvad. So the original plot is this here. Then when you come down from there, from this Radha Madan Mohan temple, you go down to the Samadhi Mandir of what is his name? Radha Madan Mohan Mandir is by whose Samadhi is there? Anyone remembers? I can't remember. So Radha Damodar Mandir, and behind Radha Damodar Mandir is not Raghunath Das Goswami. Whoever Samadhi is there. So from that Samadhi, when you move, you go to a place called as Advaita Vat, if you remember. And that Advaita Vat is the place where Chaitanya Charitamrita was written. So see how we are blessed. We are reading a book, and the place where the mercy of the Lord was asked, we have visited. Where the Lord gave his mercy, that is the same place. Then the person who built this temple, his Samadhi, we have visited. And from there, when we come a short distance there is this place where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami sat and wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So those of us who have not seen, don't worry. As soon as this wave of COVID is over, the next yatra we are planning is for Vrindavan. So that time you all can come in large numbers, and men, women, children, everyone will be allowed. Only condition is that you should be attending class regularly. So now, coming back to the second portion, we will read that section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita which speaks about the passing away of Haridas Thakur. Right? Namami Haridasam tam Chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum samistham apiyan murtim swankhe kritva nanarthaya. As I told you, Chaitanya Charitamrita is partly in Sanskrit and partly in Bengali. So here, I guess there are few shlokas that are in Sanskrit. So he starts. It is chapter 11 of Antalila. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridas Thakur and his master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Daya Maya Jaya Dvaita Priya Nityananda Priya Jaya. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is very merciful and who is very dear to Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda. Jaya Srinivasera Haridasa Nath Jaya Gadadhara Priya Swarupa Prananath. All glories to the master of Srinivas Thakur. All glories to the master of Haridas Thakur. All glories to the dear master of Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to the master of the life of Swarup Damodar. Jaya Kashi Priya Jagadananda Praneshwar. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Raghunatheshwara. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya, who is very dear to Kashi Mishra. He is the Lord of the life of Jagadanand and the Lord of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. So that Radha Damodar Mandir is of Sanatan Goswami, if I am not mistaken. Jaya Gaura Deha Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Kripa Kori Deha Prabhu Nija Padadan. All glories to the transcendental form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, the supreme personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, kindly give me shelter at your lotus feet by your causeless mercy. Jaya Nityananda Chandra, Jaya Chaitanya Pran, Tomara Charana Vande Bhakti Deha Dan. All glories to Lord Nityananda, who is the life and soul of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear Lord, kindly give me engagement in devotional service at your lotus feet. Jaya Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Chaitanya Arya, Swacharane Bhakti Dehi, Jaya Dvaita Acharya. All glories to Advaita Acharya, who is treated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as superior due to his age and respectability. Please give me engagement in devotional service at your lotus feet. So he is describing the glories of, before he is describing the glories of Haridas Thakur, he is glorifying the Lord and his devotees. Jaya Gaura Bhakta Gane Gaura Yan Pran, Sava Bhakta Mili More Bhakti Deha Dan. All glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For the Lord is the life and soul. So the Lord is their life and soul. All of you kindly bestow devotional service upon me. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Jiva Raghunath, Raghunatha Gopala Chaya Moronath. All glories to Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami and Gopal Bhatt Goswami, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They are my masters. Yehi sab prasade likhi Chaitanya Leela Gunam, yaiche taiche likhe kari apan paravan. I am writing this narration of the pastimes and attributes of the Lord by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. I do not know how to write properly, but I am purifying myself by writing this description. Yehi mata Mahaprabhura Nilachale Vas Sangha Bhakta Ganvalan Kirtana Vilas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri with his personal devotees and enjoyed the congregational chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Dine Nritya Karna Ishwara Darshan Ratre Raya Swarupa Sane Rasa Aswadan. In the daytime, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in dancing and chanting and in seeing the temple of Lord Jagannath. Now, those of us who have gone to Jagannath Puri can also remember that, that Panda who came with us showed us the exact place in the Jagannath Mandir where Lord Chaitanya stood. And there is the impression of his thumb there, of his finger there on that place. At night, in the company of his most confidential devotees such as Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he tasted the nectar of transcendental mellows of Lord Krishna's pastimes. Ehi mata Mahaprabhura Sukho Kalya Yai, Krishnera Viraha Vikara Ange Naya Hai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very happily passed his days in this way at Nilachal Jagannath Puri, feeling separation from Krishna. He exhibited many transcendental symptoms all over his body. Dine dine bade vikara, ratre atishay, chinta, udveg, prelapadi, yatra shastra kay. Day after day, the symptoms increased, and at night they increased even more. All these symptoms, such as transcendental anxiety, agitation, and talking like a madman, were present just as they are described in the Shastras. He's talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. स्वरूप गोसानी आर रामानंद राय रात्री दिने कोरी दोन्ही प्रभुर सहाय. Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai, the chief assistants in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, remained with him both day and night. Eka dina Govinda Mahaprasad lane, Haridase dita gela anandita hane. One day Govinda, the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went in great jubilation to deliver the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food to Haridas Thakur. Dekhi Haridas Thakur kariyache sayan Mand Manda Kariteche Sankhya Sankirtan. When Govinda came to Haridas, he saw that Haridas Thakur was lying on his back and chanting his rounds very slowly. Govinda kahe, Utha Asi Karaya Bhojan, Haridas kahe, Aji Kirmu Langhan, Karimu Langhan. Please rise and take your Mahaprasadam, Govinda said. Haridas Thakur replied, today I shall be observing fast. Sankhya Kirtana Puri Nae, Ke Mata Khaiba, Mahaprasada Anayache, Ke Mata Upekshiba. I have not finished chanting my regular number of rounds. Means you should chant for 22 hours a day, or 23 hours, or 22, yeah. How then can I eat? But you have brought Mahaprasad, and how can I neglect it? Eta boli Mahaprasade Karila Vandan, Eka Ranchalana Tara Karila Bakshan. Saying this, he offered prayers to the Mahaprasadam and took little portion and ate it. Aradina Mahaprabhu Tanar Tani Aila, Susta Hano Haridasa Bali Tanar Puchila. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Haridas' place and inquired from him, Haridas, are you well? Namaskar Kari Teno Kaila Nivedan, Sharira Susta Hoy Mora, Asutha Buddhiman. Haridas offered his obeisances to the Lord and replied, my body is all right, but my mind and intelligence are not well. Prabhu kahe kon vyadhi kahata nirayan, teho kahe sankhya kirtan na puraya. So the Lord is asking him, can you ascertain what your disease is? And Haridas Thakur replies, my disease is that I cannot complete my rounds. Just imagine, we should all hear this carefully. प्रभु कहे वृद्ध हईला संख्या अल्प कर सिद्ध देह तुम्ही साधने आरहा कान कर. Now that you have become old, the Lord said, you may reduce the number of rounds you chant daily. You are already liberated and therefore you need not follow the regulative principles very strictly. Loka nishtarite ei tomar avatar, namera mahima loka karile prachar. Your role is in this incarnation is to deliver the people in general. You have sufficiently preached the glories of the Lord's holy name in this world. Ebe alpa sankhya kari kara sankirtan, Haridasa kahe suna moro satya va nivedan. The Lord concluded, now therefore please reduce the fixed number of times you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Haridas Thakur replied, he said what? Kindly hear my plea. Hina jati jana mora Nindya Kalevar, Hina Karme Rata Muni, Adhama Pamar. I was born in an inferior family. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, by the way. And my body is most abominable. I always engage in low work. Therefore, I am the lowest, most condemned of the men. Adrisha Atspraya Mora Angikar Kaila, Raurava Haite Kadhi, More Vaikuntha Chadila. Chadaila. I am unseeable and untouchable, but you have accepted me as your servant. This means that you have delivered me from a hellish condition and raised me to the platform of Vaikuntha. We may have only a few seconds left, so I'll read as long as that, and then we'll continue this next time. So till that time the class gets over, I'll read. Swatantra Ishvara tumi hoi ichha moy, jagata nachao yara aiche ichha hoy. My dear Lord, you are the fully independent personality of Godhead. You act by your own free will. You cause the whole world to dance and act as you like. Aneka nachaila more prasada kariya, viprera shraddha patra kahinu mlechahana. My dear Lord, by your mercy, you have made me dance in many ways. For example, I was offered the Shraddha Patra, which should have been offered to first class Brahmins. I ate from it even though I was born in a family of meat eaters. Eka vancha hoy mora bahu dina haite, Leela sambari be tumi laya mora chitte. I have had one desire for a very long time. I think that quite soon, my Lord, you will bring a close to your pastimes within this material world. Say Leela Prabhu mora kabhu na dakibe, apanar age mora sharira padiba. He says, I wish that you not show me this closing chapter of your pastimes. So he's telling Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that I know soon you are going to finish your pastimes, but I don't want to live to see that pastime. Before that time comes, kindly let my body fall down in your presence. हृदये धरिमु तुम्हार कमल चरण, नयने देखिमु तुम्हार चांद वदन. I will catch your lotus-like feet upon my heart and see your moon-like face. जीवाय उच्चारिमु तुम्हार कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम, यही मत मोर इच्छा छाड़िमु पुराण. With my tongue I shall chant your holy name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. That is my desire. Kindly let me give up my body in this way. मोर यही इच्छा यदि तुम्हार प्रसादे होय, यही निवेदन मोर कर दयामय. O most merciful Lord, if you by your mercy it is possible, kindly grant me this desire. So what is he requesting? Haridas Thakur is saying that Lord Chaitanya, I know that you are going to finish your Leela and go back. Now I don't want to live to see that Leela because I cannot tolerate to live in this world without you. So my request is, I want to die, before you leave this world. And what is my desire? That I should hold your lotus feet on my chest, see your beautiful moon-like face with my eyes, and chant your name. And in this fashion, I want to leave this world. Yehi nicha deha mora paduka tava age, yehi vancha siddhi mora tometai lage. Let this